Okay, this is not the first time we've made this recipe, but it should still be good. So it looks good. There you go. And of course, this is from the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Superb Soup. And here's the ingredients: potatoes, garlic, salt, pepper, vegetable oil. And there's more ingredients, of course. And that's butter, onion. There's going to be vegetable stock, beer, but we're going to use chicken stock. Beer, flour, goat cheese, heavy cream, smoked paprika, salt. So let's get this started. So I'm cutting up the goat cheese into very small pieces. And as for me, I'm going to...
That's the most disastrous recipe we ever tried.
So the potatoes are in here, and as soon as the oven gets up to 500, we'll stick these in the oven. So the recipe calls for 12 ounces of beer, and this is 14.9, and we've decided we're going to use it all anyway. I guess Ruth's not going to let me drink any of it. That's okay. I got a whole nother one in there. Okay, so there you go. The butter and the onions are in there. You need to turn the heat on. There you go. And we're going to cook it in Grandma's old stock pot, her old Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven. Now the thing is we're using twice the amount of broth and probably a bit more than heavy cream and definitely more beer than we should. But we figure it's a soup. It'll all just cook down, so it should be fine. We'll see how it turns out. You. Yeah, I love you too. Poured all the beer in there. This thing never took a picture while I was doing that. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I have no clue. But it was in the one I drank too. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the heat up to medium. And the beer and this are going to cook together. And once we start getting all this together and get all the ingredients in here, well, some of the ingredients, we'll make the roux. And then the roux goes in here. There you go. That looks good. Okay, so this is going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes like this. That's good.
I'm just going to try to look up when this book was...
No problem. I'm going to put the chicken broth in. Now, this calls only for 16 ounces. We've got a heck of a lot more here. But I'm not one for putting broth in the refrigerator. I know it'll never get used, so we're putting it all in. There you go. And we'll just let it reduce, and it'll be fine.
It says the copyright is 2014.
Oh, the book you're reading?
Yeah. This book right
Okay,
here.
so that looks pretty good. Now next is the roux. And making roux sounds a bit, you know, like it's a bit off-putting and it's difficult, but it's not really. You just have a little patience to roux, it'll come out fine. So you're gonna melt the butter, and when the butter's melted, you're gonna put in the flour, and then you're gonna mix those two together, and you're gonna let them cook together for a little bit. And then we're gonna take some of this, and we're gonna mix it in here till it becomes a paste. And we're gonna get it to where it's really smooth, and then this is gonna go into that where it'll be whipped. And the whole purpose of doing it this way is to keep the roux from being lumpy. I'll pour it in while you film. So the butter's melted, and now you're gonna put the flour in. In this case, it was 3 tablespoons. And we're gonna reduce the heat a little bit more in this because we want it to paste up nice. Whoops, I dropped the bottle on the floor, no bag. And we're gonna cook it for a little bit this way. And cooking it for a little bit this way takes some of the taste of the flour out of it. That's the purpose of that. So that's pretty good. A little bit more that way. And now what I need, if you can go down there, Ruth, and get that ladle for me, I greatly appreciate it. Perfect. Thank you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ladle some of that soup into here. Just the broth is all I need. Try not to get too much of the onions. Alright, just put a little bit in there. You got a little onion in there, that's okay. Now what we're going to do is just mix it up and try to keep it from lumping up in here. There you go. Look at that. Oh, that looks good. A little bit more, please and thank you. A little bit more. Try not to get too many onions there, kid. You're doing good. Oh, there you go. Keep doing this. A little bit more, Ruth. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. Go ahead, pour it on in there. That's it. A little more, a little more. Hey, I'm gonna pull it off the heat a little bit because it keeps evaporating very fast, and we don't need that either. Okay, more, please. There you go, put that in there. Oh, that's beautiful, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna keep beating this. I'm gonna turn the heat off of this. That looks pretty good. It's got a nice smooth consistency. So from here, it needs to go into here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start pouring this in here, and as we pour it, we're gonna whisk it. Bless you. Whoops. Try not to splash yourself, Mom. Because what we're trying to do, like I said, is keep it from lumping up, so you don't have a lumpy soup. Pour it in there a little at a time. And this is actually kind of interesting too, because this is a cast iron pan, which means that as I'm scraping it, I'm also removing bits of cast iron, and it's making its way into the soup, which means the soup will be high in iron. Literally high in iron. And one of the things that people don't realize is when you eat iron fortified stuff, literally the stuff you have has iron flakes in it. You could take a magnet and run it through your breakfast cereal and it'll pull all the iron filings out of it, but it'll make it less healthy for you. Okay, oops. Pan bit into the end of my pan. Kind of hurt a little bit. Let's get more of this in here. That looks pretty darn good. I think I did an okay job. Let me see if I can get any more of this in there. Let's get this. Let's whip it up. Come on, Rita. Whip it. Whip it good. Oh, yeah. I'm an old person. There you go. You know, I think it came out pretty good. I don't think it's lumpy at all. All right, it looks pretty good. Do we need to turn the heat back up on it? Because I had turned it down pretty low. So, I guess next is the goat cheese, right? Okay, so put in the goat cheese a little at a time. And this is 8 ounces of goat cheese. Last time we made this, we only had half the amount of goat cheese we needed. We only got 4 ounces, so we ended up using 2 different types of cheeses. And that wasn't the problem. This time it's just going to be all goat cheese. And it still smells amazing. And I'm whipping it so that the goat cheese melts. And I'm assuming you want to use this kind of cheese too, because some of the other cheeses, once they start to cool, they start to coagulate together into big lumpy messes in there. Maybe goat cheese doesn't coagulate so much, and even cold the soup doesn't, you know, it's not so bad. So there you go, there's the goat cheese in there. And I'm stirring it up. She's scraping the last of it out of the container and putting it in there, out of the bowl. There you go. And I'm whisking it. So what's going in next is the paprika and the heavy cream. And once again with the heavy cream, we're going to be putting in more than what it says, but we'll just render it down. So there's 1 teaspoon of paprika. And there's another. And if you guys could just smell how amazing this stuff smells. Okay, and the last ingredient is going to, well, not the second to the last ingredient, is going to be the heavy cream. Yeah, just stick it all in. Like I said, if we don't like it, we'll just let it render down. There you go, there goes the heavy cream. So it's got the heavy cream in it. There you go. That looks so good. This is the last ingredient. I'll get this out of the stove. Look at that. Woo, that looks grand. And this has got to go into there. This stuff smells so good. Okay, so this goes in here. Oops, I dropped one. Let's get you. In you go. You can get this back on my hand. I wonder if we just did it this way, if that would work. Let's see if I can get a good grip on this sucker. There you go. Ooh, it's splashy. There you go. Look at that. Ooh, let me get some of the garlic in there too. Look at that. There's all kinds of garlic still in there. Let's get that roasted garlic in there too. No use letting any of the flavors go to waste. Nothing stays in the pan. Well, the garlics did kind of float to the top. I remember the last time the garlics burned and they floated to the top too, and they were a little off-putting. But still, they're going to add flavor to it, and that's fine. There you go. That looks great. So now we'll just let this cook. And then, basically, the soup is ready. But we're going to let it render down a little. So we're going to put it a little higher than that. There you go. You can stop. Okay, so this is dinner. The soup, salad, and freshly cooked crescent rolls. Nice dinner. Ready to sit down and have dinner. I made a nice pot of hot tea. And can you hold off on the TV for just a little bit? Thank you. And I knocked that over. Just pick it up. So it's a nice salad for each of us. Some soup. And some hot crescent rolls. Fresh out of the oven. That looks good. I'm gonna keep my sleeve out of my food. That'd be good too. You want to give yours a go and tell me what you think of it? Yeah, try some potato. Looks a little hot, but give it a go. Oh, it is hot. Super hot. You want some cold water? But it's good, right? Two thumbs up. Yeah. Now let's try mine. There it is right there. I'll try some of the potato with a little bit of sauce. And it is hot. Look at that. It's been cooking in the cast iron pan for quite some time now. Half an hour, actually. It's really good. The beer adds such an excellent taste. And the goat cheese, you can taste it all. It's not really salty because we didn't add that much salt to it or pepper. Just a little bit to each, but it's still good even without that. I'm assuming a lot of the salt actually comes from the chicken stock because that was salted. So it was really good. The heavy cream, the chicken stock. Made for a really good soup. 2 thumbs up from me too. It's good.